This is the short arm on Sport Brew, and I'm with Kaya and Dup, and it's me, Matt, and we're going to be discussing the Kings Super Rugby status and our thoughts and feelings about them.
Yeah, given how we're all from Port Elizabeth, this
Kind
is
of,
kind of.
adopted.
Well, yeah. My apologies. We're currently residing here. Yeah, we do. Let's be honest. We all really like to watch Super Rugby,
Yes, definitely.
and this is why we want to talk about it. Kings struggling at the moment. Financial issues, player issues.
Everything issues.
Everything issues.
Issues.
Yeah, I'll just put this out there. I really will be impressed if they can have 3 wins coming up. I mean,
The 3 wins is possible. There's enough.
it's possible, but
There's enough
I'll be
other
like,
teams
yeah,
to-
please. I mean, they just played Boerland this weekend in a warm-up game, and they did win.
Got it. W, yeah.
2018 or something, but
So
Boerland,
the question is, are they
you know,
playing New Zealand teams, or are they playing the Sunwolves and those teams?
No, I
Australian.
don't
Because that
think.
would give them a better chance of winning.
No, but the Sunwolves are in the
No,
South
I'm saying,
African conference.
are they going to be
yes.
playing the Australians or the New Zealanders? Because that makes a huge difference. Like, we all know forcing them have a tendency to mess up against other teams, so there might be a win or two there for them.
I
think they'll get maybe a couple of wins at home. Like they did show last year that at home they can win, away from home it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think Sunwolves is a team they could beat, and maybe one of the other South African teams on a bad day.
And I mean, the other thing is the teams they have.
Which South African team?
Also, I mean, they can beat one of them on a bad day. And like,
Yeah.
the Jaguars, who just I still have no idea what happens when they get on the field.
Dude, that team should be good.
And they
Like-
just,
Oh yeah.
They
They
were-
should be up there.
But then, I mean, the Kings beat them last year, but there were 2 red cards involved in a yellow card, so it took a lot for
And
them
if
to
Jake scored a wonderful try, with
Yeah.
against 12 men, but still Jake's a good player, solid.
Yes, boy.
Represent.
So I don't think the Kings are going to be. They'll be competitive just because of passion, because of ego. But I think they, with their fitness, like compared to every other team, I'll give them about every match 50 to 60 minutes of decent performance, and then after that they're going to get
Last
murdered.
20 fall off.
Yeah,
That was they did
but-
last year.
But
they're going to be a bonus point game for every team.
yeah, I do think so. I'm definitely gonna nail my fantasy picks on optimizing the Kings, eh? As bad as that sounds. But apart from the fitness aspect, let's look at like the players that they are getting in. Like, okay, first off, they are not a big traditional union within South Africa. So them
Yes.
recruiting proper players or players of real promise and talent, they might struggle because their financials just aren't good enough.
The other thing is
Either.
their academy got gutted,
Academy did get gutted.
and
Yeah, a lot of
that was
players
because they
were-
didn't have money to keep academy players, and we know guys who had to leave because they
Yeah.
couldn't do that.
Yeah,
And
I did read an article that Robbie Kempson's running the academy, that he somehow managed to still keep the academy going
yeah.
through
there's
funding. I
but
don't know
they've
what
lost
funding, but yeah.
Jeremy Ward, who was basically the future of the union, and he's gone. They've lost a big young scrum off. What's his name? Was it Hall? James Hall, I think it was. So they've lost a lot of 2 potential pieces that they could have built around,
Yeah.
and I think that's going to be hard to recover from. And they've lost their captain from last year, I think Shane Gates.
Yeah.
So it's their backline was basically gone. I'm sure. I think Malcolm Yaya might still be around.
Yeah, and Jake's is back in the squad. Chris
Jakes,
Clutty, if he's not injured, should be
Yeah.
back. They're good players. They're a few good players, but I feel like the Kings need to focus on youth because financially they're just not competitive when it comes to the Bulls,
Yeah.
Stormers.
On that,
Sharks.
what role do you think the Kings should be taking then within the Super Rugby setup and within the South African rugby setup? You know.
I think the Kings have an important role to play. I feel like this region needs a team. I think the Eastern Cape is a diverse rugby culture in South Africa, and I feel like we need the opportunity for these players to stay here and not have to go to the Bulls. And I feel the Kings being here is a step in that direction. However, we need I think we need to be realistic with the Kings, and I think we need to have long-term goals and not focus on short-term goals. Short-term, like whether they win 1 or 3 games, for me, I think it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a long-term commitment, and it needs to be seen that way. I feel like kicking them out after a year was a terrible idea. As a Lions fan, I was happy the Lions were back, but I don't think the way Saru handled that, the whole situation was handled terribly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the Kings, as a team, is important. I don't know if 6 teams is the right amount, though. I think we're starting to struggle purely because too many of our players are going overseas.
Yes,
That's another
yes.
topic, I feel, for another
Yes.
I mean,
let me write that down while
using
we're
the
on it.
Lions as a model is actually a wise thing, because there was about 6-7 years ago the Lions were pretty rubbish, and they were at the bottom of the heap. They in fact were in the same position. They had lost a major sponsor, had no money, and they were starting to lose some of the older
kicked
players
out of Super Rugby.
who were going overseas. But then they got a solid financial base. But the biggest thing that they did was invest in younger players. And they recruited a lot of guys out of high school, and they improved their youth teams. They started winning the under 19 and 21 Curry Cups. That improved their team enough to be the core of today's players.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Kings have got to be in the same thing here. They've got to invest in the young players. Let them. The other thing we need to do is also then we've got to find a way for them to be able to stand against the Blue Bulls and the Stormers and the Sharks, who have a tendency to just hoard talent, and then the players never play.
Yeah. You can see what happened. Like Lions got a lot of rejects from those teams, and that team is full of players that are actually better than people that are playing above them.
What? Didn't the Bulls let go of Ruan Janssen van Rensburg?
We can even work through the team. Like Rohan was let go by them. Howard himself had been at the Sharks.
Yeah.
Missed.
When you had to Varsity Cup, then got
We've
a break
got
at the
Ruan
Cheetahs
Kornbrink,
because-
who went to Western Cape after high school, and Stormers didn't see him as talented enough. Do they have a wing that's on his level now? There's so many players. We can just go through that. Who's the 15 at the moment? I even know. Like half the team. I don't think even.
Is it Skos? No, Skosan is playing.
Skosan's a good winger.
Yeah.
Like,
His
I
winger,
think he
yeah.
also came in from another union. So like I don't think there's just too many players getting through the cracks
Well, I mean,
because of this.
Whiteley
But that's
also came through
From KZN.
From KZN.
So it's just
I feel like the cracks have a lot to do with our structure in rugby. I feel like our system's not really working. Like there's no real like bridge between club rugby and the highest level. And I know like positive steps. Garth Abril is positive for club rugby. Him getting his break last year played very well.
Yeah, even got a Springbok opportunity.
Yeah, so
Damn.
that is very positive. But I feel like most people that play club rugby, having played a bit and watched people play, I don't think you feel like that's a way through the system.
I think
at the moment.
the last time that really was a way through the system was when Dick Meir was coaching at the Sharks, and he went to club rugby games to look for players and bring them up, and that's where we found our favorite JP Peterson and many other players. You laugh, but that's how they were found.
I know.
Club rugby
Favorite
games.
player.
Yeah.
He's definitely our favorite player on this show. Eh?
JP's a good player, guys. 2007 World Cup. That
No, I'm
tackle-
not taking it away from him.
Saved.
That
I give it to
that
him.
was over, guys.
I give it to him.
Gone.
I give it to him.
2015, he doesn't score 3 tries in that first game. We wouldn't have had to deal with him for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah,
But he did
yeah.
somehow. But like I'm saying is, there is that thing of, like we don't have our players. The clubs and the unions basically want to return on the investment, so they will
Yeah.
keep forcing the players they've signed already to stay in the team.
Yeah.
And this happened a few years ago. I mean, when there was at the Stormers with Louis Schroeder and Nick Groom. Nick Groom was outplaying Louis Schroeder, but Louis Schroeder was being paid more, and they kept him continuously just because of that. So that's the other problem with SA Rugby. They just keep the higher pay talent.
But that is the question then. How do you get the Kings to be able to retain talent within the region and then also be able to poach talent from other regions? Because let's be honest, it's poaching that's going on at the moment. Young players are getting poached from other regions through money. As simple as that. So how do we bridge the gap? And let's be honest, when you look at the schools here in the Eastern Cape, they are top schools. Powerhouse schools. Dale.
Good,
Yeah.
Grapey's
Dale.
good, so on.
You know, so how do we keep these players here then, and kind of bridge the gap towards the Kings. Because I do feel for a young player, if you are looking to make it to Super Rugby, the highway is to the Kings.
Yeah.
That's the truth at the moment. You
But
go
it-
to the Kings.
yeah.
That's your fastest route, unless you are a superstar, and the other clubs want to.
Yeah, I feel like they need to market that a bit. I don't know how they do that, but they need to sell that to players. Like, I feel like Super Rugby is a big platform. If you get the opportunity as a youngster, even at the Kings, who are terrible at the moment, and you
Yeah.
can play well.
Sergio
So-
Peterson, there's an example. Came
He
in as a
played
youngster, he played well, and he got
That's
signed
also
up.
part
Yeah.
of the problem.
Yeah.
If
How do you still retain
Damn,
it? You
yeah,
know?
how does he stay? And he doesn't stay if the Kings
Yeah.
don't improve. And that,
He was forced into leaving because they got kicked out of that whole.
yeah.
Yeah, but the thing
situation.
is, like, I do think that the Kings never really would improve enough without keeping players. But to keep the players, you need results. And a culture where the players feel like, I want to be here.
Yeah.
It's a good culture, preferably a winning culture. If it's not going so well, there needs to be something else that are binding the guys together.
I mean, that's where good coaching comes in. Like, I don't know Dion Davids and what he's about. I've never seen, I don't know what team he even coached beforehand. I think a good coach can get them, like, I think that's a lot of what they did with the Lions, was like, everybody thinks you're useless. Everybody thinks you're the leftovers of other teams. And the mentality of we're going to show them that we're actually better. And also they committed to a style of rugby, and they said, no matter what happens, we're going to play this style. And that's what the Kings need to do. They need to say that's, and then they need to build a community with the community. Like the first time the Kings were here, I felt like the whole of PE was with them and behind
Oh,
them,
yeah.
and they had a strong link with the city. That hasn't
Packed
that hasn't
stadiums.
happened.
That first year, packed
And
stadiums.
I'm also seeing the Kings going to schools. Maybe they are. They're not going to. They need to go to schools around the region. When I say region, I'm not talking just about Port Elizabeth and maybe just Grahamstown. They need to go to schools all around the Eastern Cape
No, Eastern Cape.
and
yeah.
just and build a strong culture with that.
Yeah,
Recruit
yeah.
players from within that.
Yeah, speaking about that, I mean, let's just switch over to the Varsity Cup at the moment, where NMMU's stadium is currently undergoing construction.
Yeah, we've been having construction for years.
Yes, but we won't talk about that. So now the Madibas rugby team their home games are being played in different locations outside of PE, which I think is great. You know, like bigger rugby is being taken to the outskirts and the smaller regions. And yeah, that outreach can be very good. I feel that this could really benefit NMMU rugby by them going out there, showing to the locals around. Like, yeah, and they started off well this year as well. Let's hope
Yeah,
they
they
can
won
continue.
against UCT.
They thrashed UCT, got some momentum now. And if you go out to the districts and people can see, wow, you know, like this team is representing us as a whole, because NMMU is kind of representing the whole of almost the whole of Eastern Cape when it comes to Varsity Cup rugby. You know, and that's how you garner the interest and people want to come and play.
I feel like NMMU and the Kings seems like a natural fit, being based in PE. I feel like the academy.
They do have links with that.
Very poor links, though.
Yeah.
No, I won't say very poor, because a lot of the Varsity Cup players are at the academy. The academy uses
It's only a very recent.
the fields at MMU.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know about that. So you rock up to go do training, and then
Yeah.
you don't have a field because the academy oaks are there. So there is a tie, but I don't know all the details about that. But maybe that's not enough.
I don't think
is
it's
what I
strong
wanna come
enough
to.
in terms of. You look at the Sharks; they've got a very strong link with. Not the Sharks. I mean
Bulls.
the Bulls have a very strong link with
Tucks.
Tucks. And that's a very, and the students are going in between the two. Stormers and UCT and Stellenbosch, very strong links between those three. So why can the same not be done here, where they actually have a much stronger link, working together, and they can find varsity players who can go
Yeah.
up.
But see, that has now happened from, I think it's the last 9 years. I mean, Varsity Cup started in 2008, if I'm not mistaken. So they have now forged a new route for young players to get into the system if they weren't already recruited directly from high school. Now you go to university, it's got a Varsity Cup team, you get noticed there, and you go up. That is the route that has now been forged. And to me, it looks like, okay, they're going left, Varsity Cup, and club rugby and everything else is just sitting here on the side. I mean, there are still great players in the club system.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure how they fall
But they've got the
within the
community
unions.
cup for that, and that's what they trying to
Yeah,
build
they're bringing
up with
that
the
back
community
now, but I don't
Well-
think it's there yet to really get that interest going for it. If club rugby is strong, like really strong, all the other rugby will be really strong as well.
The problem is like a lot of players, like back in the day, you would, if you didn't go to union and meet out of high school, you would go play for a club. A lot of, because of how big unions are now, you can still thrash it out there for a few years.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work out, you don't go back to your club, you just go overseas. So that's the other problem. Like a lot of quality players aren't staying back. They just choose to go overseas or they just give up on rugby.
I also feel like the club system, because the club system's not working, a lot of people won't choose to play in it.
Yeah.
So I think we need to overhaul that. We need to get like it reinvigorated. We need to get, and it needs to be a potential way to Super Rugby.
Yeah.
The clubs need to, EP for instance, should be involved in, the Kings should be involved in seeing club rugby and seeing that people are developing, and these clubs need to be supported, funded.
Yeah.
The league needs to be organized better.
Yeah, I've heard that some of the league things haven't been organized as well.
Especially down here.
Yeah.
It's just horrible.
When you step, I don't think we probably know too much of
I
the
don't
details
know
of
enough
how
about,
much they are involved, but I mean that is where certain structures are coming. Like the first thing that needs to happen is EP Rugby should take it upon themselves to go train more coaches. I think, you know, like that should be step one. Is let's go train coaches properly from grassroots levels. There probably is a program in place for that. Might not have been there for long enough. I don't know, but I think they should start there. If you have good trained coaches in the right positions, there will be a little bit of a time lag, but you got to look at the long game. You cannot look at the short game. And when that talent comes through, you're going to milk it.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Community Cup isn't marketed as well as Varsity Cup. I feel like if that also needs to happen, because I think there's some good rugby on display. It is on SuperSport.
Most of the
finals,
matches
yeah.
get. I think the Community
finals,
Cup is only the finals or the
the final
semi-finals.
series of the club.
Yeah.
Give them more exposure. Like just giving people exposure is an incentive as well.
But then that's the fault of the club, because the reason you watch the Varsity Cup is because it's linked to your university, and you go to the university and you have something that you link to it.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, like
The club was the community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas now there's no link between community and club, and so all the clubs themselves actually investing in the communities and trying to get people from the community into their games. That's the big question. And you know, I mean, you spoke to someone earlier this year who was talking about trying to make the club games more of a family environment.
Yeah.
Because I think they've noticed that.
Yeah,
And that's probably one of the failings of clubs. That they don't have the communities involved. Because honestly, unless a friend of mine's playing, I generally would not go to a club game.
Yeah. Which is sad, man. Like, I mean, grassroots rugby is fun, you know, like it's like guys literally just playing it for the love of the game, you know, because they just want to play. I love watching rugby like that. Even though, like,
rugby is a lot of fun.
when you're like, okay, the standard of rugby is obviously not going to be as great as some of the other rugby on display, but that to me is what makes it beautiful in its own way, because, you know, that's a person like me, you know, just trying to do what he loves as best as he can, and that's what makes it exciting. You know?
it's a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of good players at that level. I understand it's a lot more open, the game, a lot more errors, but like it's really enjoyable to watch. Like I've watched quite a bit of club rugby because I used to play, and it's fun. I think a lot of fans, like, I think you could get people involved by having like fries and whatever around the venue. I feel like make it about the community, about the family, get people involved in rugby again. I think people are involved in rugby, but on SuperSport and not.
Don't you think part of the problem is that we have an overexposure to rugby in general from the media sources?
Yeah, I think that's a problem with sports generally, though. I think we're oversaturated with like options. So like, why should I watch the club game if I can watch?
So I think we should learn from football there, where it said the same thing again. Like football club, look at like England and all over the world. Like they, because of the depth of the community, the connection that they feel to the club, they continue going out every single game,
That gees,
regardless.
yo,
And
we need
I
gees,
think,
Owens.
like like you watch African like rugby stadiums, and when you're in the stadium nowadays, like there's no gees. Guys are just there, like, oh, my team happens to be playing. I feel like going today to go watch the game. There isn't like a vibe from the beginning of the game where you feel the stadium is going for. So
Yeah,
this is
let's be
across
honest.
the board problem.
The entertainment in the stadium is just the rugby match. There's nothing else to offer. Like, you are paying money just to go watch a rugby match, and I think that is a problem. Prices of tickets have gone up, and you're like, well, I got to go sit there for, let's say, 3 hours, because you got to get there before the time, find your seat, parking, whatever.
Quite often,
And what else is on offer?
the
Not
experience
much.
you get quite often is better at home.
Mm.
Like, often, like, I enjoy the stadium. Like, I like going to watch live games, but like on my couch at home, Super Sport, braai, couple of beers, like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Chill bras, eh?
exactly. No, I agree with you, and that was one of the problems that people have raised, is that, you know, there's nothing else on offer, and that comes to what the community wants, making it more of a community thing. Shouldn't just be the rugby. It should be, you know, almost a whole. You could make it a whole
Should be a
day
whole day
event.
thing,
You know,
yeah.
like things leading up to that main match. People coming, they're having a good time, excitement's going, and then like, okay, now our team's going to play, and then. You know, people in the stadium, and you have a jaw at the stadium
should be what
enjoying the game.
happens, yeah.
That is what should happen. Now it's like you go to the stadium, you rock up, you watch a game, you go home, or you then wherever you go. Come on, you know, like I personally would want more out of the experience. If there's get local bands involved, you know, like you have this platform where you could really engage with the community, and for the benefit of the community and other parties. Through that platform, by just coming together and saying like, well, how can we help each other?
Yeah.
You know, there would probably be people willing to help the union make it a better experience, you know, for relatively cheap or possibly even free, you know, and then in return, you know, the union is providing this stage or this platform of getting recognition or advertising through them or so on. That can be a win-win.
I think like price points also critical. You know, like price at the moment is important, and I think they're overcharged. To be honest, like I would rather have a full stadium at a lower price than a half full stadium at a full price. And I understand why there's a lot more financial issues at play, but like from a purely fan basis and a like rugby basis, like it's good to have a full stadium, and that can easily be achieved by reducing prices, even if that means that you might not earn as much money in like the long term. You could increase the price again, but you need to get people watching before you increase the price to a point where people don't want to go. I don't know the pricings for this year, so I can't comment on that, but I feel like as a student as well, like there's only so much I can spend my money on, like, and if it's too expensive, I'm not going to go. I'll rather
I mean, that takes back to what you were saying, but if you're paying $100 to go to a game, it needs to be an experience. It needs to be, but also like, if rugby is really intending on becoming a more diverse sport, reaching to different communities, they've got to consider the average South African is earning about 5,000 rand a month. If I'm going to take out 100 rand from my budget, I've got to be able to know that this is going to be worth the experience. And like one of those experiences, because this is what often you read about people like, oh, I went to the game with my family. I remember from when I was a young kid. And the experience is what was made it worth it. But now let's say your nephew comes and you take your nephew to a game or something, you don't have nothing for them to remember. There's not even face painting, there's not even anything happening. It's just like, sit here, watch the game, go. Yeah. And it's got to be
exactly that.
So as I said, it's got to be the experience. It's going to be worth it for people to go, and they've got to find if they want more people to come to the games. Yeah. And if people that have the money to go to the games don't want to go to the games, there's clearly a huge market that is still available.
Yeah. So moving forward for the Kings, how do you guys think they should move forward? You know, like, let's say if you were now the owner of the Kings or something, if they actually have an owner, I don't know, you know, or a CEO. Okay. What should they do moving forward?
I'd hire myself and my company to market them on Pulse Media. You know where to find us. But like, my main thing would be marketing to the communities and building a community brand, and make sure that people feel part of the Kings when local gigs are happening. That the artists play in King shirts. Like, Get the community as involved as possible. Have when Greg's playing Dale, you have Kings
get
players
them
there,
there, yeah,
you have
yeah.
a presence there, you have something handing out to everybody. You just make sure everybody feels like they're part of the Kings.
So step one, branding and exposure.
Yeah, that's where the big part of the budget going to go. Besides paying players,
Yes, please do pay players. Like, otherwise you got nothing.
like happy players will play well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the second thing, obviously, is bring in names of players that they know. Like people want to go to the same because they actually know who's playing.
Yeah,
So-
but it also is marketing. You
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
market the players
And
you
also,
have.
if that comes
Start
down
bringing
to
in local players.
Yeah.
yeah, the local players that come from here that people can identify with. You know, like, wow, I went to school with this guy. And, you know, like, oh, I played against this guy when I was young, and he's playing. Yeah, that generally does generate a lot of interest.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of good young rugby players at school level here in Eastern Cape that should get a chance through the Kings, and that's what I would do. I would focus on getting young players from school into the academy, which I don't know how that's working at the moment, but getting the academy running properly so that there is youth coming in, because that is going to be a cheaper way and a long-term plan rather than hiring a few expensive players, which might in the short term be better. You might get a one win or two more wins, but I think youth development is key. And like I
Yeah.
said earlier, let's not focus on the next 3 years on wins. Focus on developing a better team and a better brand and a better experience. And then the team, like I feel like in 2 or 3 years, with 3 years of playing with young players, they will have the confidence to play better, and that'll start to improve the team. And once you have a good team, people will want to come to the Kings, and that's where you can get bigger names and likes of any, like I don't know, like any player that that's not would choose the Kings over.
Yeah,
another club
potentially
possibly.
even a couple of overseas internationals that you could bring into the setup. You know, like that would really, a big international name would generate a lot of interest. And would also be uplifting for the players playing with him. But yeah.
Yeah, I think bringing in 1 or 2 experts to help out. I mean, I don't know where he is in the world right now, but you have a guy like Rassie Erasmus to be a consultant of some sort.
Brendan Venter,
know.
the consultant expert.
I know he's doing medicine right now, but bring back the doc. make that thing, hashtag bring back the doc.
I can be the new doc. Not the same doc, but you know. They'll look good on paper at least. Yeah, what else? Nothing else you can say.
Yeah,
I think
nothing
that
else.
kind of got today.
I think that's what the Kings all the best to them. But
Yeah,
they're my second favorite Super Rugby team.
Yeah,
So hopefully they can improve this year a bit.
they're about 4th or 5th for me, but
I'd say probably 3rd for me. They're up there. Like they're the local team, yeah. Like I am definitely gonna support them when they are playing here and overseas. I'll always support the SA team.
I'll attend the Sharks game.
But if they're playing against my team, I'm sorry, but no, not gonna happen.
No, my only team that I'm a Lions fan through and through, but other than when they play the Lions, I'm supporting the Kings.
When they play the Sharks, as long as the Sharks get in 50 points,
It's not about the W, eh?
it's not about the W.
It's about how you got the W, eh?
I wouldn't
The
be
Lions might give the Sharks 50 points this year.
What happened the last time you thought your team was going to beat my team?
You want to go there now?
Chelsea.
You want to go there? This is a rugby show.
I'm just saying. I was trying to send out a reminder.
Alrighty.
Thanks.
Is that it, gents?
Thanks.
We have that awkward end of a phone call moment right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't you hang up.
Okay, let's do it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bye bye.
Cheerio, chaps.
I'm gonna go for cheers, man. Cheers. And once we got the brewery going, I have a proper cheers.
Oh, cheers, mates.
I'll be like, that's that, folks. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know if our engineer already stopped it.
Oh,
No, it's still going.
we thought it'd be done by now. It's only like-
I'm waiting for Matt. I'm waiting for Matt to finish it. Yeah, I'm waiting for Matt. I'm like, Matt, that if we started,
shit,
we gotta
no,
finish
no,
it.
no,
Alright.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's a learning curve. It's chilled. It's chilled.
Thanks for watching.
Look at the camera, bro.
Thanks for watching the topic of the Kings Super Rugby team. Whatever happens, happens. I don't know.
Next week we'll discuss Saru. You know,
Saru, yeah, coaching.
and if there are any
Super
other
Rugby
topics,
preview, yeah,
we
more
are open.
content next week on
Big Super Rugby
Sportsbury.
preview.
Yeah, big Super Rugby review. And if you have any other comments or suggestions, things that you don't know yourself, even like rules,
That
any
sounded
question.
like game over, Greg.
yeah.
Just comment below.
Just comment below. The like and subscribe button is right there. Press that thing. Yeah, we would
I
greatly
feel like
appreciate
I need
it.
to work on that.
Hey, bro. It's fine. It's fine. You got your first cap now. You're done.
Debut.
It took
It's
Bowden
good,
Barrett
man.
a while to get there, you know.
First six, yeah.
True that. True that. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see you guys next time on the Short Time. Cheers.
Useless.